and welcome back to episode 15 of the Quiet Man series. Can't believe we're actually now into the third week of these episodes, the chapters from the book. As you remember, the end of last chapter, it was all about the greatest motivator. And what was that? The greatest motivator of all was love. And what had I done? I'd fallen in love myself, and as a consequence, I'd moved to California. So much as St. Louis was my gateway to the West, well, moving to California and Seal Beach, that was my portal to the Pacific. But then, poof, just like that, it all disappears. And there I am in Los Angeles, an Englishman in LA. What is this chapter all about? It's about visions and failure. And it's subtitled, The Day My English Charm Disappeared. What on earth is that about? Well, people often ask me, how did I get into what I do now? Especially when they find out that I was an engineer. And I turn around and I simply say, I failed. There I was in California, sales engineer for York International. And I had this big project I was working on, Huntington Hospital, Pasadena. I thought the project was in the bag. I had the specifying engineer on site, I had the hospital administrator on site, I had the hospital engineers on site. All I had to do was go make a presentation. But when I walked in, it wasn't who I thought it was going to be. There was a sea of faces looking at me, and I just wanted the ground to open up and swallow me. I got sweaty palms, trembling knees, a quiver in the voice. I absolutely lost it. And as a consequence, we didn't get the contract. On the very tetchy ride back to the office, I said to my boss, I said, what shall I do? He said, Neil, you have to learn how to speak in public. So I went away and I researched. I came back and I had two programs. There was one in particular I wanted to do, but I put them in front of him and I said, I want to do that one. He said, well, go on then. I said, but Steve, it's $1,200. He said, so? That is a big lesson. Remember, Americans pay their own way. Remember access cards back in the day? I put it on an access card and I paid for myself to do the Dale Carnegie course. I absolutely loved it. About 3 months after finishing it, I took a phone call one day. It was an association I belonged to, and the chap on the phone said, Neil, we want you to do next month's keynote. And I went, what? He said, yes, Senator Brown can't make it. And I went, okay. And then I went, oh no, because I knew there was going to be 350 people in the room. But I pulled my manuals down, blank piece of paper. I started crafting the presentation. I used some mnemonics that I'd learnt on the course. And before I knew it, I had something prepared. On the day of the presentation, I could still see it, hotel in Seal Beach, just off Pacific Coast Highway. I walk in, all these round tables, I'm on a raised dais, and suddenly I'm being introduced. I'm on my feet, I start, and within 2 minutes, I had the audience in the palm of my hand. At the end of it, I asked a question and they all rose. They gave me an ovation. It was absolutely amazing. My boss came running up to me afterwards. Why didn't you do that at Huntington Hospital? I can still remember to this day the words coming out my mouth. It wasn't that I couldn't, I'd never been shown how to. And that really was the lesson. It wasn't that I couldn't, I'd never been shown how to. And that became a bit of a mantra for me. One of the other things that happened on that course was that one of the lessons, I heard a story and I said to the woman that delivered it, Cynthia Mazinski, can I use that story in a book I'm going to write one day? And that book was The Freedom Tree. So the lessons are, fail, but learn how to do it and invest in yourself. Those are the lessons for today. If you've liked it, give it a thumbs up. Please comment on it, share it with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for episode 16 of the adventures of what are now an Englishman in LA. Thank you very much.